Mansfield in the morning.
Okay, today I'm going to continue on looking at life after life.
Oh, that's right, from Friday.
Yes, from Friday, following on a whole string of comments I got and WhatsApp questions and so on afterwards. But I first want to just look at Thursday. So Thursday night we had that announcement made about the lockdown.
Yeah.
And I've had so many distressed people, and I do get it, really distressed. People found Saturday, I think, the hardest. I can't tell you how many messages I got from people on Saturday telling me how they were struggling
Really?
now with the lockdown. And so what you two are doing in the mornings is even more important now than ever before. I think the reality of it hit people on Saturday, and they're really finding it difficult. So I'm going to be looking at some of the good things of life here now that we could perhaps focus on, as well as life after life, as I said. And for me, one of the things I do, I also, on Thursday night, I had that initial response of, oh my word, when will we ever get out of lockdown? And I think that's the question people are asking. And then I looked at New York and I said, thank God for our government. And I meant that literally, I'm not blaspheming. Because we don't want to ever be in that position. And we will get through this. As I said on Friday, ants can move an elephant carcass, and we are far more gifted than ants. So we will get this economy started and moving again, one way or another. Okay, so looking at life after life, a quick recap. I quoted Tagore, death does not extinguish the light, it turns off the lamp because the dawn has come. Richard Raw, there is no death, only transformed life. Toller, no death, just life. And he looked at the forest and said, even if you look at what supposedly is a dead tree stump, it's actually filled with life. Richard Raw went on to say this, and this is what I didn't say on Friday, that there are no other worlds. So we don't move from this world to another world. There's just an expansion of the walls of the world we already inhabit. An expansion of the walls of the world we already inhabit. And that would go along with what we read in the Bible, perhaps, where we're told that now we see dimly, and then we'll see clearly. So we don't see it all. And I think that's important to hold on to when we think about what's going on in the country. And I would change that actually to an expansion of our experience of the universe. It's not just that the walls shift, it's that we experience things more as we move from this life to the next. But first, let's focus on the amazing blessing and wonder of living in these bodies here and now. Because I'm not advocating that we should focus on life after this one and long for it. We need to live now, today.
Yeah, exactly.
And there's so much to experience and enjoy, even in lockdown. Obviously, we're privileged, all of us here, in the conditions in which we're in lockdown. But there's still good things. For example, other people. So we're not allowed to go and meet them now, but you can watch them on Facebook, you can follow them on Twitter, you can read about them, you can see them on television. And I'm always amazed at how beautiful people are and what amazing gifts they have and the creativity of people. And when they produce these little videos that everyone's sending on WhatsApp, I just think, wow. Human beings are truly exceptional, and I think we should value that and take note of it. And even though we can't meet them, we can, as I say, communicate in other ways. Nature's also amazing. I made a vow last year that I wouldn't miss a sunset. While you've got kids at home, you never see sunset.
Yeah.
I think Sam can relate.
You got to go searching.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so I said I would watch every single sunset, and I almost did that. And they're just beautiful and they're free. Sunrise. Sam and Jeremy watch the sunrise every morning. I watched it today and I watched it yesterday, so I'm quite proud of myself. Beautiful. And of course, that one morning you took photographs of it, and by the time I got in, it was all clouded over. But we know beyond the clouds, above the clouds, the sun is still shining. You just get in a plane and you'll see that. And I think we need to hear that as South Africans. The sun is still shining beyond this lockdown, beyond what we're going through now with this virus globally. There will be sun shining again. We will move past this. Every storm runs out of rain. For myself, I've also learned to be grateful for small things after landing up in hospital last year for that emergency back surgery. I've never felt so vulnerable and helpless and hopeless in my life before. But I'm recovering, and I'm grateful for things that I took for granted before. I'm grateful to be able to walk. I'm grateful for the friends that helped me through, to my daughter who bathed me. I'm grateful to be able to go to the shop, even in lockdown, and pick up a few groceries. I'm grateful to be able to bend and pick things up off the floor, things I never ever thought of before. I was once challenged by someone with emphysema, and he said to me, "You breathe without thinking. Every breath is a marathon for me."
Sure.
And I think with the images we're seeing on television at the moment in the hospital wards, let's take our breathing and be grateful for it instead of just taking it for granted. Let's realize what a miracle it is. We have so many blessings, so much to be grateful for, so much to learn and experience here on earth that we should treasure every day. But I think we should also not fear death, because if we fear death, in a way it robs us of life here. So going back to Richard Raw, his exact statement is, death is not a changing of worlds, as most imagine, as much as it is the walls of this world infinitely expanding. So as I said, it reminds me of Paul saying, now we see dimly in a mirror. And I love that, the walls of this world infinitely expanding, and then in my understanding, our experience of the universe grows and deepens. There are no walls. He goes on to say that life is never about being correct. It's never about being right. It's all about connection. Just stay connected. Our holiness, in his words, in my words, our sacredness, is the abundance of life we promised comes through surrender and participation in the greater body of love, and not through any private performance. Now, more than ever as South Africans, we know that we're all connected. In fact, everything is connected, not just human beings. And if we've finally realized everything on earth is connected, why would we not believe that everything in the universe is connected? What happens here on earth definitely impacts on the whole universe, or at least that's what I believe. One of the reasons people fear death is that we become attached to our identity, our sense of self, and we don't want to lose it. And it's also because when someone we love dies, we lose something, a house, a car, a job, or physical abilities. We feel like there's this huge gap in our lives, a hole. And we imagine that this is how we will feel when we die or leave this body behind. Now, there are two things I want to say. When we feel that loss, we should never deny it or try to pretend it isn't there. I know my friend, when her father died, denied it, and 2 years later went into a deep depression. And the psychiatrist and psychologist said it was because she didn't grieve, because she didn't acknowledge it. So we need to acknowledge it and allow it to heal slowly. And for me, it can become a sacred space. And the second is that love extends way beyond the grave. And that love that we have here continues beyond this life. And what we sow in love will always live on. And the lesson we need to learn while we're here is to love. My sister has a priest in the UK, and he has to do 3 churches at once on a Sunday. So he goes quickly from one to the other, and their whole service is half an hour. So if you want a quick service, that's where you go. And his sermons are about 2 seconds. And she's phoned me and she said he's now done it. It was 1 sentence. He said, Jesus said, love each other, so love each other. And he said, Amen. But that's actually quite a good sermon. I thought I might try it one day when I'm having a bad Saturday and haven't prepared a sermon. So every day, even in lockdown, perhaps especially in lockdown, in every way, we must choose to live in love, learning a much deeper way of love. And the one thing I know is that we all experience when we do this is unearned and unexpected grace. My last thought for the day, just as many fear death, as not all can see beyond the veil, and not all have had near-death experiences, so too, if you're feeling yourself getting anxious about the future, step away a bit, take a few moments to allow yourself to see that maybe you aren't seeing the whole picture. And what looks impossible today may, in retrospect, have many unexpected blessings and new beginnings. So may God bless you and protect you and those you love. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, Reverend Shona.
Here it comes! It's Mansfield in the morning. Driven by Sandown Motors, your Mercedes-Benz partner. On